Before you visit Vienna in 2026, you need to know one thing. This city can either become one of the most unforgettable experiences of your life or one of the most boring trips you will ever take. And the difference between those two outcomes is not the city. It's what you know before you arrive. Most people come to Vienna expecting beauty, but they leave without ever understanding it. And if you don't know how this city really works, you will make the same mistake. This city might look elegant, calm, and even a little bit quiet. But don't let that fool you. Because Vienna is not a city that tries to impress you instantly. It doesn't scream for attention like some other destinations. Instead, it waits. And when you start to understand it, slowly, you realize you are walking inside one of the most refined cultures in the world. I remember the first time I came here. I expected a classic European capital, beautiful buildings, museums, maybe good coffee. But what I found was something very different. Vienna doesn't just show you history, it makes you feel it. Stay with me, because in this guide, I'm not just going to show you where to go. I'm going to show you how to actually experience Vienna. Vienna is the capital of Austria, and one of Europe's most historically important cities. For centuries, it was the center of the Habsburg Empire. This means one thing: power, culture, and art were concentrated here for generations. And you can still feel that today. As of 2026, Vienna is considered one of the most livable cities in the world. But visiting it and living in it are very different experiences. So let's start with something practical. Money. The local currency is the euro. Vienna is not cheap, but it is also not the most expensive city in Europe. A realistic daily budget looks like this. Budget travelers, 80 to 130 euros per day. Mid-range, 140 to 250 euros. Luxury, 300 euros and above. Now let's talk about hotels, because this matters more than people think. When I first visited Vienna, I stayed slightly outside the center to save money. And honestly, it worked perfectly. Budget hotels and hostels, 50 to 100 euros per night. Mid-range hotels, 110 to 220 euros. Luxury hotels, 250 to 500 euros and above. But here is what most people don't tell you. Where you stay in Vienna can completely change your experience. If it's your first time, staying in the first district, the historic center, gives you the best access. You are within walking distance of major landmarks. But it comes with a trade-off: higher prices and more tourists. If you want a better balance, look at the second and third districts. They are still very close, but feel more local and relaxed. If you prefer a more creative and slightly alternative atmosphere, the 7th district is a great option. Small cafes, boutique shops, and a more artistic vibe. For budget travelers, staying near a metro station outside the center is the smartest move, because transportation here is extremely efficient. Now let's talk about transportation. Vienna has one of the most reliable public transport systems in Europe. Metro, trams, and buses work almost perfectly. But what makes it different is not just speed, it's consistency. You don't need to constantly check schedules. Everything runs on time. The metro connects major areas quickly, but trams give you something more. They show you the city. I remember taking a tram instead of the metro just to see the streets. And honestly, it felt like a moving city tour. There are daily and weekly tickets that make travel much cheaper. One important thing: tickets are not always checked at the entrance, but inspections happen randomly, and fines are high. Now let's talk about what makes Vienna truly special. Culture. Vienna is not just a cultural city. It is one of the places where European culture was shaped. Names like Mozart and Beethoven are not just historical references here. Their presence still exists in the atmosphere. I remember walking past a concert hall in the evening and hearing live classical music from inside. Not for tourists, just part of daily life. That's when you understand something. This city didn't turn culture into a show. It kept it alive. The Vienna State Opera is one of the most respected opera houses in the world. Even if you don't usually listen to classical music, attending a performance here changes your perspective. There is also a deeper intellectual side. Sigmund Freud developed his ideas in Vienna, and those ideas changed how we understand the human mind. Vienna is also a city of thinkers. Its cafes were not just places to drink coffee. They were places where ideas were created. And that atmosphere still exists today. Now let's talk about architecture. Vienna's architecture is elegant and powerful. The Schönbrunn Palace is one of the most impressive palaces in Europe. Walking there feels like stepping into Imperial history. Another iconic landmark is the St. Stephen's Cathedral. It stands in the heart of the city and defines Vienna's skyline. Now, let's talk about museums. Vienna is a paradise for museum lovers. The Belvedere Palace houses incredible art collections, including works by Gustav Klimt. Standing in front of those paintings feels different. It's not just visual, it's emotional. Now let's talk about food. Vienna's cuisine may look simple, but that simplicity is intentional. Wiener Schnitzel is the most famous dish, but not every place serves it the same way. A good one is light, crispy, and perfectly balanced. A bad one feels heavy and forgettable. I remember trying it in 2 different restaurants. Same dish, completely different experience. Sachertorte is another classic, but it's not overly sweet. It's about balance, not sugar. And then there is coffee culture. Vienna cafes are not about speed. No one rushes you. You can sit for hours. This is where you start to understand the city. Not while moving fast, but while doing nothing. Now let's talk about daily life. Vienna moves at a calm, controlled pace. It is not chaotic. People value structure, order, and quality. This creates a very different feeling compared to faster cities. Now let's talk about reality. Vienna can feel quiet, even slow. Some people might find it boring at first, but that's because they are looking for constant stimulation. Vienna is not about that. It is about depth. If you slow down, you start to see details most people miss. Now let's talk about the best time to visit. Spring and summer are ideal for exploring. Autumn is calmer and more relaxed. Winter transforms Vienna into something magical, especially during Christmas markets. Now let me be honest with you. If you rush Vienna, you will miss it. This is not a city to check boxes. This is a city to experience slowly. Now, here is something important. If you want to discover hidden places, real local experiences, and travel smarter in 2026, make sure you subscribe. Because the difference between a normal trip and an unforgettable one is knowing what others don't. Now let's talk about what you should absolutely do. Visit Schönbrunn Palace, walk through the historic center, explore museums, try traditional food, sit in a cafe and slow down. These are not just activities. They are experiences. Now the final question. Should you visit Vienna in 2026? If you want culture, elegance, and depth, the answer is yes. But if you are looking for fast entertainment, this city might not be for you. Vienna is not loud, but it is powerful. Before you go, slow down. Look deeper. Take your time. Because Vienna is not just a place you visit, it is a place you understand. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And tell me honestly in the comments, would you visit Vienna in 2026?